What if I told you the biggest political shift in America is happening right now, but you won't hear about it on CNN? And what if I told you it's not loud, it's not viral, it's not even angry? It's calculated, deliberate, inevitable. Because for the first time in a long time, Black America is done being used. Let me show you what I mean.
I had a second and third great-grandfather that fought under Abraham Lincoln under the Republican Party, United States Colored Troops, to fight for their freedom from the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party wanted to keep slaves. And I am so proud of my second and third great-grandfather for fighting for our freedom. You know, they were men. And now, 150 years later, we have men and women, blacks, voting for a Democrat Party that wanted to keep them enslaved. It don't make no sense. Then on top of the record of that, you had the Great Society of Lyndon Baines Johnson quoting, saying that he's going to have niggas voting for the next 200 years for Democrats. Think about it. This really pissed me off, because after the Civil War, blacks was not given freedom until 1869. Then you had the Democrats putting up black codes. They started Planned Parenthood. They want to exterminate blacks. And y'all still don't get the picture. They hate you. So my thing is, don't vote for a fucking Democrat. Weak men, vote Democrat. Don't do it.
Now, this ain't just some edgy tweet. This is a mirror. I mean, for decades, they told us who the villain was, but they never showed us who wrote the script. They fed us pain. They sold us policies that kept it alive. In this clip, this was the unplug moment. But when you unplug from a lie that big, you can't help but start seeing everything different.
So now the world can see the Democrat Party is everything that's wrong with this country. Between all the projection and the hate and the violence that they claim other people is doing, meanwhile they're perpetuating it to others. But they actually stand for everything that's wrong with this country. I mean, they're not for stopping waste, fraud, and abuse in their own government. They're not for holding people accountable. They're not for mothers and fathers in the house. They're not for a strong economy. They're not for good and proper education. They're not for any kind of logical dialogue with anyone who disagrees with their fucked up views. The Democrat Party is a cancer to this country, malignant and fast growing. A constant threat to our constitutional republic, to our way of life. And yes, I'm talking about the party of Jim Crow, the party of Margaret Sanger, the party that started the Ku Klux Klan, the party that refuses to let young boys and girls be young boys and girls. That party.
And let's be real. How many more contradictions do we gotta ignore? They say they love immigrants while Americans starve. They say they love black lives but celebrate abortion clinics in our neighborhoods. They say they want peace, then back every movement that burns the city down. That burns your city down. They don't build. They don't fix. They manage dysfunction, if anything. And then try to call it justice. So the moment a man comes along and actually delivers, they panic.
So a lot of the reason why I started making videos and posting on TikTok more often is because of Facebook. Facebook has a lot of people like Donna and Tony C, where they're just so misinformed and they're so full of hate that they can't even look into the good things that's happening with this current administration. So Donna says that Trump doesn't follow the Constitution. Why are you saying that black people are safe? He doesn't like black people. That's a proven fact. She says, so why are you listening to a lying felon? He wants us to leave true. And then she went on to say something about black jobs and a whole lot of other things. And I want to first address Miss Donna that Trump doesn't hate black people. Trump actually, in fact, loves black people. There's a video at the top of my page where I broke down a lot of what he's done. Specifically, Steve Harvey asked for money. He gave it to him. He helped pass the First Step Act that Cory Booker and Van Jones brought to him. That was something that was done by Trump that benefited black people. And he gave money to Jesse Jackson's presidency run back in the 80s, and no racist white man is doing anything to help a black man become president. Just wasn't happening. So it's not a proven fact. That's not correct. Why am I listening to a felon? Well, there's a lot of felons in America, and Trump's felon really, a lot of people aren't mad at it, so it's okay, you know. And he's not really lying. Everything that he's doing, he said that he was going to do his entire campaign, and now he's just executing all of the things that he said he was going to do. You also mentioned black jobs. So whenever all of the illegals came over here and they started doing jobs that traditionally went to black Americans, and then they started working for lower wages, that in fact pushed black Americans out of that job market and into other areas of work, because illegals came over in such high volumes. And then they started working for lower wages, which, you know, the average black man, he knows what his worth is, and he's not going to work for the amount of money that the illegals were coming over here to work for. So that was another misconception. And, you know, I really hope that you dig deeper and stop watching CNN or whatever you get your news from, because it's going to keep you angry. And I want people to get out of that anger stage and just get a little bit more happy whenever it comes to our president and what he's doing. He's doing the best that he can, and he's doing things that he feels is going to make America great in the long run. And at the end of the day, he's going to be our president for the next 3 years, and we just have to deal with it. So instead of being mad and trying to find every little thing that's wrong, just, you know, find better information.
They don't hate, well, they never hated Trump because he failed. They hate it. They hate him now because he's succeeding in ways they never wanted to. He didn't wait on approval. He moved with power. And most dangerous of all, he actually helped us. And they can't erase that. So what do they do when they can't refute the facts? They sell you fear.
What's up, Young Saint Gang? So I want to touch on this whole situation where people are apparently think that Trump is going to deport black Americans. And I would like to say Trump is not going to deport black Americans. All he said was criminals and stuff. Some BS. Basically, the reason why people are saying that he's thinking about deporting us is because he said, oh, these people aren't new to the U.S. They're old here. People are assuming he's talking about black Americans. Trump deporting black Americans wouldn't even make logical sense. One, didn't he just pardon NBA Youngboy and some other black Americans? Then he pardoned Lil Wayne. Kodak Black's Haitian, but I'm pretty sure if he was going to deport black Americans, he wouldn't be pardoning, how do you pronounce it? Pardoning black Americans who have cases against them. What sense does that make for you to pardon somebody that you're going to send back to wherever you're going to send them at? That don't even make logical sense. Pretty sure if he wanted to send them back, he would have probably sent them back somewhere after he pardoned them. Trump is not going to send black Americans back nowhere. He literally told y'all niggas in y'all face that birthright citizens was for children of the slaves. Y'all are taking everything this dude's saying so literal. And Trump has not done anything to harm the black community. This is just another way for people to try to get the black community against Donald Trump, despite him not doing nothing to us. Peace out. Now,
I'm not going to play grammar police here. I've had my fair share of slip-ups. I mean, just even then. Anywho, instead of pointing it out, I'll just say, yeah, this one was wild. They tried to convince us the same man who pardoned black men was plotting to deport us. This is what it looks like when the system has nothing left but gaslighting. But guess what? It's not working anymore. Because the real damage they've done is starting to come to the surface.
So, of course, mainstream media is not going to put this on their platform because it doesn't go with their agenda. But our Senate approved the bill to defund Planned Parenthood. And I do understand that Planned Parenthood does more than just abortions, but if you have to cut the funding totally to Planned Parenthood for them to stop aborting children, then I am 100% with it. At the end of the day, women, if we make the decision to lay down and crack our legs open and let a man go in and shoot up the club, then we have to deal with the consequences of our actions. and his actions, unfortunately. And there's going to be some people that is going to fight for their life, talking about, well, the SA, what about SA and abortions from SA? That is 1% of all abortions. The other 99% voluntary, boo. And the reason why I can speak about this is because I had a child young. And did I think about abortion? I sure did. I was like, but you know, at 19 years old, you know what I told myself? I said, no, I made this decision, so I have to deal with the consequences of it. And I dealt with it, and I handled it like a big girl, like we all need to do.
Respect.
I know one thing, this is certainly going to make people rethink laying down, being reckless with their body. If HIV and AIDS ain't doing it, baby, I don't know. And syphilis and herpes, if that's not doing it, dang, what more do you need? And it's crazy because the only thing I ever see on media is people championing, if that's a word, on abortion. But nobody ever talks about the trauma that is left in a woman from aborting their child. Nobody ever talks about that. How people still hear phantom cries, the guilt that they feel years later. Now, some people don't feel nothing. Get your soul checked. Some people don't feel nothing, but there are a lot of women who are left with these feelings, and they don't talk about it because they're shamed or they're ashamed. But there's two sides to this, and there are a lot of women who are the loudest and the proudest that feel the worst inside for what they did, but they try to cover it up with all this loud talking, yeah, all this championing on, when deep down inside they are destroyed because of what they did. But let me chill out. It's getting too deep. But yeah, hoorah. Very good. Very good. We doing something good here. So now, ladies, close your legs. 8 times out of 10, the men are not going to stay there and take care of that child. And these are just statistics. They're not doing it, okay? So you're going to be left holding the bag. So now that you know they're not going to change, 8 out of 10, they're not going to take care of the child. Okay? And you're going to be left holding it. Financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You've seen all these women complaining online about how they're a single parent, including me. Close your legs. Until you get married. And you know for a fact that he's one. Even then, wait for a few years until after y'all are married to have children. Okay? And if it don't happen, then it don't happen. That's your safest bet. That's all I'm going to say.
Now, of course, you can tell that a series of her perspective comes from a personal, lens of life. However, she said a lot. I'm just saying, this is what gets uncomfortable, because when you finally call out what abortion has done to our communities, you stop getting applause from the left. You start getting attacked. They cheer it forward, but don't ask about the guilt, don't ask about the trauma, don't ask about the bodies. And I'm glad she brought that perspective here. I guess you're supposed to clap and move on, but we're not clapping anymore. And I want y'all to keep this clip in mind for the very last clip that I'm going to play. And once you start rejecting the pain that they normalize, you start reclaiming your mind.
Happy Saturday, you guys. Oh my God, I had an amazing 4th of July, eating, fellowshipping with my family, and celebrating my freedom. There was an image going around from a movie of a guy that was whipped and being burned. And a lot of black people put out there that, hey, never forget that we were once barbecue. And what baffles me about black people is they rather you celebrate the fact that we had our ancestor that may have went through very horrific times, and they want us and they want our offsprings and our offsprings to never forget the horrific events that happened to not only black people, but it also happened to other races. It happened to white people. It happened to Hispanics. It wasn't just black people. But they're not going to say that because they only want you to follow a certain narrative that once upon a time, back in 1776, okay, this is 2025 now, but they want us in this age, in this century, to think about a time that none of us have ever on this app experienced. We've never experienced this. Not our time, not our mother's time, not our grandmother's time, not our great-grandmother's time. They didn't experience that. They wasn't around then. My grandmother was born in the 40s. Her mother was probably born in the 20s. Okay? They didn't experience that. So I'm not going to sit here and try to relive a moment that I didn't experience. It doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to me. It doesn't even apply to the ancestors that I know. Okay? It doesn't apply to you. Please do not allow these weak-minded black individuals that is on this app. Don't allow them to get into your mind with this stuff, y'all. Y'all are better than that. A lot of y'all are way more educated than that. You are. So if anyone is on this app that is on my friend list, that is black, and that feels like you want me to remember a time that I do not associate myself with, that I cannot comprehend. I can't even comprehend that time frame because I wasn't there. Even during the movie, I didn't watch that crap. I don't want to relive it. I want to celebrate the fact that that no longer happens. And that's what I'm going to continue to do.
This is the freedom they fear the most. Not just financial, not just political, mental. The ability to say, the pain stops with me. They don't want us healed because healed people can't be controlled. And in the middle of that healing comes the man that they tried to bury.
Okay, so listen, let me start this off first by saying I do not do politics. I don't fuck with politics. I don't like talking politics. I don't want to know nothing about what you think about politics. I don't really care for it. But what I do care for is to highlight how Donald Trump is carrying himself throughout his presidency. Now, like I said, I do not keep up with politics. I don't do the politics. I don't get in my comments wanting to do all that politicking and shit. I don't care. But what I care about is how flamboyant and just how Donald Trump be dropping his nuts, yo. So the two things that I'm just going to talk about is the fact that when bruh got shot, right? And they made all them videos and all them clippets of many men wish death upon me. Yo. Okay, that was hard. For a president, we ain't never seen no shit like that. That was hard, okay? And then I just seen another one today. They made a little promo video for Donald Trump when he got off the plane coming from NATO. And it was the, daddy's home from... Yo, bruh, the internet be turning Donald Trump the fuck up. I like it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I like it. They be making this man look like he is, almighty. They make him seem like he's the almighty. But it's just because of it's everything around him, bruh. He be killing it. I ain't gonna lie. D-Trump be killing it.
No, this ain't about aesthetics. This is what real leadership looks like when it don't ask for permission, y'all. I told y'all that before. They hate this image. Not just the man. Because every time he steps off the plane or walks into that room, he reminds them, you don't have to be silent. You don't have to beg. You don't have to lose to be liked. At this point, a win is a win. Y'all read that caption.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. A win is a win.
One more time.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. A win is a win.
Trump got black folks reading bills now. He said, and she said, this is our ancestors. A win is a win. I know, right? But the more we win, the more desperate they sound.
You see, they say they're pro-life because they want the baby to be born, go to school, and get shot in the school. die in the school, die on the streets. No, that is what they say.
I'm not going to say anything, but you've gone over the cliff.
I moved to strike his words. Over the cliff.
Wait, you've gone over. We were going to be quiet, but you've gone over now.
I meant every word.
We are going to strike your words. But on the other hand, it might be good to leave your words because that's how you feel. But you are not going to come into this room and impugn our integrity. You will not. We are pro-life people from conception to natural death. Most of us are. And don't you come in here and say, we want to preserve life so people can get shot.
That's what I've seen.
That man's stupid. I couldn't say that no other way. I'm sorry. Because that ain't no political take. That's spiritual decay. To say that being pro-life is the same as being pro-death, bro, you've lost the argument and your soul in that. But these the people who claim moral high ground. This is why we walked away. Exactly why. I can't see me going back, man. This isn't a movement. This is correction. Black voters were never owned, okay? We were borrowed by fear, by pain, by fake promises. But now, we repossessing our minds, our voices, and our futures. We have to. And if that makes anybody uncomfortable, good. That means it's working. You gotta be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.